Well, prices for homes in the Hamptons got off to a rough start in 2016, falling 21% in first quarter amid volatility in global markets. So are we set for a rebound this summer? Let's bring in Zachary and Cody Vichinsky, co-founders of Bespoke Real Estate, a brokerage firm in the Hamptons. And guys, welcome back. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having us again.
So Zach, let me start with you. I mean, we all know that Wall Street, right, they're a big investor in the Hamptons. It's been a rough ride for Wall Street, the markets, especially during first quarter. Have you noticed that in your business?
You see some sort of trickle down in really sentiment, but it's a very broad brush statistically with price points. You know, the world looks at statistics from the low end to the very high end, and when you lump everything together, it paints a very different picture than breaking it down into certain segments. So, you know, our mid-level price points are like 3 to 6 million. We've seen a slowdown in velocity of transactions, but the buying public is still there. They're still interested. They're still looking. They're just being a little bit more cautious. Our very high end, which Bespoke Real Estate primarily focuses on, that market really looks at the volatility as an opportunity in a lot of cases. So we've been very active. We have some very big deals in the works. There's other firms with very big deals that are happening right now. So we stand very positive with what's happening in the market.
Yeah, so Cody, how are you feeling heading into the summer? You think we're going to see that those worries that we saw earlier in the year kind of subside?
Well, we handle what's on our plate, right? And we're looking micro-focused on our clients and what they're interested in. So we're quite busy, as my brother mentioned, but taking a step back and looking at the macro context of the market, you know, as my brother mentioned, it's a sentiment feeling. And I think our market is one that's based more on inventory and demand. Supply and demand is the ultimate driving force behind decision making. So although there may be an equity market volatility, I think ultimately that comes down to the individual, the liquidity situation, where they are in their life, their kids, their family scenario. So for us, I'm actually quite confident going into the summer that you're going to see a rebound. I think the economic indicators are there, that there's really no need to be somewhat worried. And moving into the third quarter and the fourth quarter, I think statistically we're going to see an uptick.
Now, you guys were last here in December, and we talked about the influx of international buyers coming into the market. But, of course, we're still hearing, even now, a lot of worries about global growth, right, whether it's China or other emerging markets. Has that changed at all? Are you still seeing international buyers coming into the market?
We are, definitely. I think the people who are looking for second or third homes from international markets, they're expanding their horizons beyond Manhattan now and Miami, and there's just more options for them. So we're still seeing Chinese money coming in, Russian constituency, French.
And Cody, are you pleased that it looks as though the Federal Reserve will sort of stay on the sidelines with its second rate hike? I mean, I know you're largely dealing with cash buyers, but certainly the Fed has big implications for your audience.
Of course, you know, again, it's a variable in sentiment. So yeah, I think it doesn't hurt for sure. I mean, a strong dollar for us is also tied to your last question, you know, a variable that we play with. But we are a cash pool in our echelon of the market. And again, from a sentiment perspective, people are obviously weighing out all the variables that ultimately make up the mathematical equation of pulling the trigger or not.
All right, now I'll end on this question for both of you. What's the oddest thing one of your buyers has asked for in a house? And these really high listings, $60 million, is it a helipad, a sauna? Well, what is it?
It's across the board. We're dealing with one right now, a very expensive property, and the potential purchasers don't like that the flooring in the house is distressed. And between the 3 floors in the home, it's about 25,000 square feet, and they're requesting quotes to have all of the flooring ripped out of the house, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and new floors to their liking put in. But we see a gamut of unique things. I had a call yesterday about a property we represent in Sagaponic, has a beautiful reserve very close to the ocean, and the clients have a private helicopter, and they wanted to see if they can land in the reserve and utilize that space, and unfortunately that's not going to work out. But
I've seen one of our more expensive homes, an individual decided to rip out the floor and put a trampoline in.
Ooh,
in-ground trampoline, and then the next room he made it a full makeup studio with about 6 different salon stations. So I think the world is your oyster once you get into it.
For $50 million, why not?
Of course.
All right. Zach and Cody Vichinsky, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
I'm Scott Gamm, and you're watching The Street.